Hello everybody, welcome to Baby Reviews with me, your host Jack. And we're still here in Chicago, and we're having an absolutely amazing time, and it's really cool, and it's time for a little bit more of an in-depth review from our little flat. We'll hopefully dive into some bottles that we've got, and do a bit more spiel about the breweries as well. So, while we're here, we might as well do one from probably one of my favourite breweries, kind of ever really, kind of at least in my top 10 for sure. It's through Floyds. And you might have seen a video earlier, probably released it well before this one, of our little trip to Through Floyds Brewery, where I managed to meet with the production manager, Andrew Mason, who's a really awesome chap, and took me on a little tour of the facility and showed me kind of where they're heading, what they're doing, and they've expanded humongously. A lot of breweries are expanding, and Through Floyds are doing the same too. So they've managed to kind of pretty much double the floor space, adding far more tanks, brand new tanks as well, new German equipment, although that's been there for a few years now. But probably the most interesting things, or the two newest things at least, are a fully automated bottling line and also packaging line, and also their distillery, which is going to be opening and producing very, very, very shortly. The kit seems to all be in place, it just kind of needs hooking up and everything just needs to be sorted out with terms of licenses and such forth. So there could be very soon some interesting whiskies, gins and all of the sorts of vodkas and stuff coming out of Three Floyds, which I cannot wait for, to say the least. Three Floyds started, I'm not even sure when they started, but it was definitely a few years ago now, but it's kind of gained a really good reputation, to say the least, for quite a lot of the hop forward beers, particularly things like the Alpha King, their American Pale Ale, and also Zombie Dust, which is a citrus single hopped pale ale that they do. Particularly Zombie Dust has kind of got a cult status as being one of the best examples of a citrus single hop pale ale for sure, especially when it's fresh. Awesome artwork on it, kind of ties in with their kind of heavy metal branding, which appeals to me very muchly. They also do some crazy ass big beers as well, such as these boys, Dark Lord, which is like the quintessential stupendously big, stupendously rich and thick Imperial Stout, that one being with coffee. That they release once a year at Dark Lord Day, and everyone goes nuts for them, queues outside the door, and they bring all their kind of whales, their big real rebels of beer, and share it and have a big celebration on the day in the brewery, which is all awesome. So they're really cool guys. They're kicking out some awesome beers that everyone kind of enjoys. I've done several reviews of their stuff whilst being here in Chicago, especially I've done the Alpha King, I think I've done the Zombie Dust, and also done hoppy IPAs, hoppy IPL even, India Pale Lager, off the top of my head at least. So the biggest and best thing that happened to me when I was there, I suppose, is not just getting to see around, not just chatting to Andrew and trying some beers in the brewery as well, but was seeing their new packaging line, the new bottling and packaging line, which is awesome. It's all totally automated. It's a bit brewer's porny, and it's probably not of any interest to anyone else, but state of the art. It's got the mechanical arms to pick and pack and fill things up. But Andrew, thank you ever so much, Andrew, I must say, for it. He didn't just give me kind of one beer to take away, he gave me an entire case, 24-pack of beer to take away with me, straight from the bottling line, as in this is the freshest this stuff is ever going to be, passed to me straight from the bottling line, in nice little 6-packs inside the big case as well, with all the artwork on it. It's a bit easy to hold this up in the box, which is all fantastic. You see it's there in his little spaceship, and there's like a big kind of cool, I'm assuming that's kind of the Dark Lord, but in a different cartoony form, or an alien lord at least. There's your Gumballhead with his space helmet in hand, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, which is quite cool. And here he is in a slightly different attire as a guy with a sword, fighting against some nice little, is it kind of Cerberus-y kind of creatures, which is awesome. So there's some cool branding on. And this is an American style wheat ale, brewed with copious amounts of Amarillo, and clocks in about 5.5%, I believe. There's a bottle indeed. So we'll crack this open, we'll do a little review on this bad boy while we can. And as I say, it's as fresh as it's ever going to be, which is kind of cool, because I know this beer's meant to have some hops to it, to say the least. So, let's pour it out. And, unsurprisingly, we have a nice, pretty pale coloured beer It's crystal clear as well, which is nice to see. They have a centrifuge at the brewery, so they don't final filter, but they do centrifuge to get out particulate matter. Keeps all the flavour in the beer in theory, without having to strip out any of the proteins, but just gets rid of like the yeast and anything else in it. So it's crystal clear, nice big fluffy head on the top, and it's not the palest wheat ale I've ever seen. Sometimes they are really strawberry yellow. It's got just a hint of copper, peachy tone to it as well. Nice carbonation in it as well. Like I said, the big fluffy head on it, which is nice to see. So let's get in there and give it a good old smell. Yeah. Wow, it's really peachy. Really light, fruity, juicy peach notes. Like sweeter citrus sort of things, talking about like tangerines and satsumas as opposed to pithy grapefruits, sweet blood orange. There's a nice little kind of bubblegummy wheat underneath that as well. You pick up the wheat notes behind it. But it smells juicy and surprise, surprise, it smells really fresh, right? But it smells like juice. It smells like the perfect kind of summer drinking beer when it's really hot outside. You want to drink something nice and hoppy and pale and light, but not necessarily massive and dank. It's got that kind of aroma to it. But I'm liking the fact that some of the wheat's coming through despite kind of a huge hop hit, juicy hop hit. Yeah, it smells really good. Yeah, I'm not surprised to be honest, but cheers everyone, let's give it a try. Yeah, it's got a huge juicy peachy flavour. It's a nice big chunky body as well, and it just has this juicy characteristic to it. Like freshly squeezed oranges, really. It just quenches the thirst in the kind of best possible way, and you get that initial rush of those sweet citruses and the stone fruits, and I might hazard at saying there's kind of a hint of something slightly more tropical in there, but definitely sweeter citrus. And then you get the wheaty kind of backbone beneath it all that kind of dominates after a while, and you get kind of a bubblegummy, almost fruity kind of candy sugar wheat body afterwards. Just a nice little hint of bitterness as well, nothing too overwhelming, and there's a good carbonation to it. It's definitely got some spritz on the tongue. Finish is very clean, and you just get the kind of aftertaste of wheat behind it all. It's a very easy drinking beer, and very tasty. You could definitely crush away a few of these, and you can see why like these big 24 packs just must fly out the brewery. There was a queue outside the door. Massive queue at 11 o'clock when they opened. Managed to have a brewery tour kind of before they opened and stuck around for the opening of the brew pub, and there was just a queue of people walking in, just kind of Alpha King, Zombie Dust, Gumballhead flying out the door, and everyone was saying, "Is it fresh?" And like, yeah, this came off the line like 20 minutes ago, and it literally did come off the line 20 minutes ago, which is even better, right? Got a reputation for a reason. I'm always impressed with Three Floyds beers. It's not just I'm saying it because the guys are really cool to me, but they were really cool to me. Just goes to show you, good beer and good people, right? There's a link between the two. Really recommend it if you want to go out there, go out to the brew pub and try this stuff fresh from the tap. You can't go wrong with it. And also at the bars and restaurants around Chicago as well. There's loads of places here that you'll find a decent Three Floyds on tap for sure. And actually more variety even than sometimes at the brew pub. They had kind of quite a classic selection, I would say, of their stuff. They had the Alpha King, the Zombie Dust, Robert the Bruce. They didn't have any of the double IPAs on, or I don't think they had any of their IPAs on, but they had some of the maltier ones, and they had one of their sours on, which you saw us do a review of as well, and the Australian Hopped Pale Ale. So they kind of, yeah, I'd recommend probably just looking around for their stuff as well around Chicago and Indiana and such forth, not just heading for the brewery. But the brewery is awesome, the food is very good. The pizza we had was fantastic. So there you go, it's a little bit of an elongated ramble about Three Floyds and also about the Gumballhead. I hope I've not put you all to sleep, and as always, please like, favourite and comment. I love hearing your comments and replying to them. Interaction is what makes this thing so cool. And until next beer review everyone, cheers.